The Golden Rule, Stuck in My Mind. Part 3. Our Buckets Run on Empty. A Sci-Fi novella by Valentin Bura. Full text provided for your entertainment and edification. I need you speaking to engineering as soon as possible, Henry said Steve, the commissioner. Holistic water is highly scarce these days, and our people are going nuts over this. Plus, our buckets are running on empty, added Steve. I understand, sir, said Henry Little. So what is there to do on this one? He then inquired. We need an upgrade on our harvesting procedures, Henry said Steve. Then perhaps use a unit for harvesting both the GIMP in question and the holistic water, added Steve. Yes, we thought about this before, sir. The thing is, engineering will need to perform testing on this one. When we're harvesting both the GIMP and holistic water from one unit, that should be subject to testing, said Constable Little. All right, have them perform the necessary testing, then implement this. Our guys cannot just go on indefinitely without the holistic water. So you want to harvest both the holistic water and the GIMP from the same units? Asked Mr. Nash, the head of engineering. We will need serious testing for that, he added. Yes, indeed. I knew that, said Henry Little. How urgent is this, Mr. Little? Asked Marvin. This is very urgent, Marvin. Our buckets are running on empty, said Henry Little. We were studying the latest New Zealand earthquakes, sir, said Marvin. We think these earthquakes may not be random occurrences, he added. Well, if we're being attacked with earthquakes from outer space, I'd say that in fact would be the priority here, said Henry Little. But make the units testing our second priority, he added. What have you discovered about the earthquakes, Marvin? He then asked. The location in question is highly suspicious, sir, plus the 50 kilometers below the ground. These facts make us think the earthquake occurrence cannot be random, sir, said Marvin. And what precisely do you have in mind as a solution? Asked Constable Little. Well, if it is in fact an impulse from outer space, we'd need about 10 industrial plants all over New Zealand that would repel the impulse in question and safeguard us from any future earthquakes, said Mr. Nash. Should be about $100 million venture, but it's sure enough worth it, he added. Allow me to report this to Steve, my commissioner, said Henry Little. Attacks from outer space aren't exactly our cup of tea, you know, he added. Interesting news from the engineering department, sir, said Henry Little. The guys over there seem overly busy with yesterday's earthquake. They claim that could not have been a random occurrence. They claim that was a terrorist attack against New Zealand, sir, added Constable Little. Indeed, said Steve. This is highly classified material, Constable, he added. Our Grand Lodge is aware the International Space Station can in fact send energetic impulses to the ground and cause earthquakes, added Steve. Yes, sir, except our engineering guys haven't been briefed on this aspect, said Henry Little. They are investigating the issue, and as we speak they're ready to be proposing a multi-million-dollar project that would safeguard New Zealand from future earthquakes, added Little. That is not a bad idea, Constable. It's good for a country like ours to claim our independence, you know, said Steve. So let them do this project. We need to be safe from earthquakes, added the commissioner. Claim our independence? What do you mean by this, sir? Inquired Henry Little. Well, these earthquakes are pre-approved by the world government and the Tesla Corporation as it stands, so I'd really think our Grand Lodge guys would be more than interested to gain their independence, once and for all, said the commissioner. And how about the other projects, sir? You know, the holistic water and the GIMPs? We risk losing control of the city, sir, said Henry Little. Give me some figures here, said Steve. We estimate we need about 500 more units in Wellington and 1,000 units in Auckland, sir, said the constable. Would these figures ensure full control of the suburbs too? Asked the commissioner. Yes, they would, said Henry Little. Well, in that case, I'm moving this project to Phase 6, Henry said the commissioner. And what would Phase 6 entail, sir? We're now harvesting from the entire population, Henry. Before Phase 6, our guys were spared, most of them anyway. As it stands, we are going to be harvesting from the entire New Zealand population, said the Commissioner. That's an interesting one, sir, said Little. I guess this would include you and me too, sir? He then inquired. In theory, yes, said the Commissioner. But you're not under medication, right, Henry? Right, said Henry Little. Well, neither am I, said the Commissioner, and I'm planning to keep like that, he added. So which project should the engineering be working on, sir? Is it the earthquakes project? Or the other one? Inquired Henry Little. Ideally, they should be multitasking on this one, I think. Tell them to multitask, Henry, said the Commissioner. Yes, sir, but there must exist some priority here, I'd think, said Henry Little. Let Mr. Nash work on the earthquakes project, and Marvin study the GIMPs issue, concluded the Commissioner. We're up to Phase 6, gentlemen, said Henry Little to the two engineering guys. What does Phase 6 entail? Asked Marvin. We are now officially sampling the units from the entire New Zealand population, answered Constable Little. That's interesting, said Marvin. Yes, that's a very interesting outcome to say the least, added Mr. Nash. We need full control of Auckland and Wellington, gentlemen. That is the only way this goal can be achieved, said the constable. Are we putting aside the earthquakes project? Asked Mr. Nash. No, Mr. Nash. The Commissioner likes that project very much. You may go on studying the issue, while Marvin can focus on the GIMPs issue, said Henry Little. It's very nice that Steve can actually appreciate the gravity of those earthquakes, said Mr. Nash. A further analysis leads us into concluding that the occurrence was not at all random. Ravid will die aging for good stuff, and Ravid. It was most probably an energetic impulse coming from outer space, he added. Right? And how do we envision the solution to this? Asked Henry Little. As we discussed previously, Constable, it is a matter of a multi-million-dollar project, a few energy power plants functioning in various spots of the country. We can hit me from one ice maker's plans for the Constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, Marvin said. Henry Little, the thing is, we're out of holistic water, and everyone is going nuts over this. Yes, and you'd like to harvest both the holistic water and the GIMPs from the very same units. Yes, we've been through this. There's testing needed for this procedure, sir, said Marvin. And how long will the testing last for? Asked Little. Aha. Well, that's the thing, sir, said Marvin. You want to say both? Proper testing on this issue should take anywhere between 2 to 3 years, sir, he added. Marvin, said Little, we don't have 2 years. All we could spare on this one is a few months, he added. Well, sir, it takes about 2 to 3 years from the moment a unit is identified to the time the unit is delivered to one of our buckets, said Marvin. I understand this, Marvin said Little, yet we just don't have that much time. We need these towns under control, Marvin, as you can judge yourself, he added. Sir, since we're also extracting holistic water from the subjects, it is highly recommended we are testing their entire journey, from identification to bucket. That way we will be able to understand if extracting the holistic water is negatively influencing their neural development, said Marvin. And you're not able to do this within 5 months, Marvin? Asked Little. Okay, sir. I will need to think carefully about this. Give me a day or two and maybe I'll find a solution, replied Marvin. They need to test the units for 2 to 3 years before deploying Phase 6, said Henry Little to the Commissioner. We don't have that long, Henry, said Steve. Why is it taking that long? On average, it takes 2 to 3 years for a unit to be delivered to a bucket, from the moment they have been observed as a candidate, sir, said Henry Little. Well, you need to tell them we only have 6 months for this at the most, Henry said Steve. All right, sir, said Henry Little. Is Mr. Nash taking care of the earthquakes project, as discussed? Yes, sir. Mr. Nash has the project in close view. Mr. Nash claims it is not a hard problem to fix, as long as the funds in question can be counted on, said Little. You tell Mr. Nash this project will be fully funded, and ask Marvin to come up with a better solution, Henry said Steve. I will do just that, sir, said Henry Little. Good news, gentlemen, said Henry Little. There's a strong indication the Earthquakes project will in fact get funded, he added. Well, that's marvelous, said Mr. Nash. And Marvin here seems to have come up with a solution, added Mr. Nash. Yes, sir, said Marvin. The actual solution is somewhat obvious. I think we just need to sample the holistic water from the palliative care unit, so that would take anywhere in between 3 to 6 months, he concluded. Music to my ears, said Henry Little.